podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Ed, this is as potent a reminder that all things must pass as anything else in life. The World Cup's finished.
Well, on that theme, you said it's the first Rantcaster next season, so surely it'd be this season. We were having this chat on WhatsApp. Is it last season? Is it in between seasons? Is it next season? We're in some kind of horrendous time loop.
Yeah. This is something that I've spent every summer thinking about over the last 4 years while I was writing, because you'd always be writing this season or next season or last season. And I have come to the conclusion that this point that we're at right now, this is the point at which last season is last season. So the 27-18 season, that's last season, and 18-19 is next season. There's no season right now.
Well, there you go. And in fact, as we record, it's only 3 days. It's Thursday, isn't it? It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Thursday. Friday. 3 o'clock Friday morning. Thursday night, Friday morning, whatever. Yeah. United's first game of pre-season. I'm sure a United B team versus Club America in, where are they holding it? Santa Clara. Is going to be awesome.
It's all very upsetting. But what isn't upsetting, although actually at one point it was extremely upsetting, is the end of the World Cup, the last phase of the World Cup. I mean, the end of the fact that it's over is upsetting, but I think my theory going into the semi-finals was that as long as the semi-finals and final weren't rubbish, this would be the best World Cup of all time. And when I say all time, I mean that I remember. And the semi-finals and final were definitely not rubbish. So that's it. I don't remember a better World Cup than the 2018 World Cup for football entertainment.
No. I mean, of course, the human psyche will over-index on what it's experienced most recently. But I tend to agree with you. I think this has been the best World Cup I can remember. And of course, it proves that old Vlad is a jolly good chap, and all that nastiness we said about Russia, none of it was true because the football was good. That's exactly how this works, isn't it?
It's absolutely mad. Somebody literally said one of my Facebook friends from an old workplace was like, well done to Russia for hosting such a good World Cup with the backdrop of such negative press ahead of the tournament. What are you talking about? Like, that's this World Cup happened, as everyone says, this World Cup happened in World Cupville.
Yeah,
not Russia.
Exactly. And actually, I thought it was very good that Pussy Riot interrupted the final. I mean, not that I'm advocating interrupting the final before Stretford End flags start having to go at me again.
Did they ever go at you about this, or
no,
just more?
No. Previous chat, you know the one. Anyway, just to remind everyone that there is not freedom in Russia, and this is a wonderful World Cup, but there was a price to be paid. There'll be an even steeper one for Qatar, where a slave workforce has been building the stadiums there, and many of them have died in horrible circumstances. Anyway, on that cheery note, should we talk about some football? England were good for about an hour and then got thumped by the better side.
God, it was just that second half.
Oh, it was so frustrating, wasn't it?
Absolutely heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking and frustrating, and and then I was just, why can't they play like they did in the first half? And I actually have a theory. Vladasco, the right back, came out afterwards and said, they're just long ball side. We'd heard they might have changed their ways, but they haven't. And among some very not good winning statements from some of the Croatians, and I have a theory on that one too. Anyway, the theory on the long ball stuff is I think England played too few long balls in the second half. And the thing that was really unsettling the Croatians was playing those long balls into the channel, which shook their back four out of shape constantly. And there's actually trying to play the ball too much. in the second period, and actually ended up getting outplayed by the better midfield. And we talked about the midfield before the tie, didn't we? And in the end, it just took over.
That I hardly want to talk about this because it was just one of the most painful experiences I've literally ever had watching a football match. But, you know, when the Trippier goal went in, a little part of my brain did think, uh-oh, is this too early? that did happen. But I dismissed that as ridiculous at the time. But the thing that didn't feel ridiculous was just when they were carving open all those real good chances and half chances in the first half and nothing was going in. You just thought, when Harry Kane opened his body, and I guess that was technically ruled offside, but I'm pretty sure if that had been a goal, it'd have been VAR'd, so it wasn't offside.
It was a kind of weird, one of those weird circumstances where England had scored one shot, and then we were like, hang on a minute, that can't be right. But of course, Harry Kane's shot on target wasn't on target because it was offside, and then the second one he hit on the post. But yeah, it would have been good if he'd got it in, which he really should have from 2 feet out. I know it's tight, but Neymar can score from behind the goal from like 60 yards away. So Harry Kane can score that from 2 yards. And the other one that's a great opportunity and won't have registered very high on XG was Jesse Lingard's. I mean, he bangs those in for fun, and he just didn't get in it. He side-footed it well wide. It was really odd.
You're like, wait a minute, why didn't you just try and smash that into the top corner? You're Jesse Lingard. But yeah, it was, in the end, it felt like a game and a bit of quality too far for England.
Of course, and we saw that in the third place playoff where England got massively outplayed, apart from sort of 20 minutes in the second half when England did push forward and Belgium took a bit of a breather. As soon as they then wanted to attack, they started carving England open. And so it's not lots and lots of players like it was 2 or 3 years ago. It's 3 or 4 really high quality players, and then England will be extremely competitive right at the top.
I was browsing through Instagram stories after the football, and a friend of the show, Alex Dixon, I was surprised to find my voice coming out of his Instagram stories, and he'd shared a little clip of the podcast where I'd said it's already come home, and I'm glad he shared that because I'd have forgotten I said that, but I that's definitely how I feel like about this. Like that was, as Marcus Rashford said in that beautiful Facebook post, Gareth Southgate gave a nation its love of football and connection with football back, and that's a big thing. And the fact that it ultimately ended in really serious disappointment, in a way that's, glorious disappointment, was what we grew up expecting from England. But that's not been anywhere near the agenda.
It's been glory-less disappointment for the last few tournaments, hasn't it? Yeah. So one of the other things I wanted to talk about was the weird reaction from around the world to the "it's coming home" sort of phenomenon, movement, and the deep misunderstanding, presented by the Croatian players at least as an arrogant belief that we'd already won the final, and it was this kind of, when Modric came out first and said, we did this because all the English press were claiming they'd already won it and we were tired and it was done. And they'd already, they were bringing it home already, and it motivated us. I was like, is this a narrative that exists only in his head? But of course, Rakitic said something very similar too, and then Vlasic as well. And I was like, and then even Pogba started mocking it in one of his Instagram posts afterwards. So I think there's a misunderstanding that they didn't understand that this is an England side that has had zero success in 20 odd years. And a hint of success had given some hope. And it wasn't so much belief that the trophy was actually coming home, but a joyous moment and a bit of silliness to be had in the moment of England actually having some kind of resurrection. Anyway,
exactly,
deeply misunderstood, but yeah, interesting.
That people just don't get that you have to base this. This is an experience I'm sure you've had. We've definitely had it from the show. I definitely had it a lot back in the Twitter days. But people do not understand that English people are almost always joking. If an English person says, and they're not a terrible, if a non-terrible English person says something and you think it's really weird that they've just said that, they were probably joking. It's It's Coming Home essentially was a joke that turned into a joyous potential reality that everyone enjoyed for a minute.
I used to have a boss was from Asia and just could not get English banter at all. I mean, all right, you old you're looking fat and old today, aren't you? That kind of thing would have been, I like you, old chap. Aren't you a fine old chap today? Good to see you, sir. Was basically what that means. But she was like, do I have to call HR? You've called him a fat old
That's 2. If you're counting, Tom, that's 2 beeps. You've
fat.
got,
Yeah, no, I shouldn't fat shame. You're right.
So anyway, it was a distinctly plucky effort from England, and then just it all properly fell apart in that second half, and they really lost their shape, and the weakness in midfield was kind of brutally exposed, and Croatia absolutely 100% deserved the win on the balance of play of the game.
They certainly did, and Modric was brilliant, and Rakitic brilliant too, and Mandzukic showed what sort of top-class forward play is. Harry Kane, take note, maybe Golden Boot winner, but he really didn't have a good tournament.
That's the worst. That is easily the worst Golden Boot win of all time, isn't it? Without question.
What was he called? Savchenko scored 5 goals in one game once and was joint.
Salenko,
yeah, that's it. I'm like ruining all the names today. But last week when I said I didn't think Henderson had been that good, you were horrified. You're challenging me to a duel. Sir, I demand satisfaction.
We've got a lot of that left to come in the show, by the way. We haven't talked about France yet.
That's right. He had an absolute stinker against Croatia. I think he was completely found out. And
he was good in the first half.
I don't know. He's the English version of a defensive midfielder, runs around a bit, but with no real purpose to it. And he runs funny as well because he's got that kind of gait problem.
So let's talk about the other semi-final where France did. Maybe that's the performance of the tournament. I think they nullified maybe the most threatening team in the tournament.
Performance.
No, they also looked pretty dangerous going forward.
We're going to disagree about France a lot in this show. No, of course they won. But France is, for me, they look like a Mourinho side, but one of the better Mourinho sides. Not the parking the bus Mourinho side, the kind that just plays on the break. And I think they would play on the break against a pub side that they'd be expected to win 30-0 against, because that's the only way. They never play on the front foot. I mean, against Belgium, they had 35% possession.
Same again in the final.
Yeah. And they were better in the semi than in the final. Seriously could have been well down in the first half in that final, and perhaps the game would have been gone from them, But their game plan throughout the tournament is to be super tight at the back, score from set pieces or breaks or balls over the top, and it suited their players perfectly. And they've had a game plan that's been very effective. I don't think there'll be too many people in 20 years' time outside of France or French affiliates or the sons of French people who will get misty-eyed about this team, because they just don't. History doesn't really look that kindly on teams that just play quite structurally conservatively and then on the break, but they're very, very effective at it.
This is the thing that I find a little bit annoying, frankly, about the take that somehow this France side have been some sort of disappointment in this World Cup, because of the style of play. Because to me, they've first of all, they've scored 4 goals in 2 of the knockout stages, which I know is to an extent an accident of statistics in a way, but it is also a reflection of how electrifying they are on the break, and they've got such wonderful defenders, particularly central defenders, and they've got N'Golo Kante. So they're as blessed as they are with incredible attacking talent, they're also blessed with really remarkable defensive talent.
Yeah, but this has been our argument all along. I say they're not a great side, and really for all the talent they've got, they could be on the front foot more, and the way they play is pretty conservative and it's not that exciting. And your retort is always, oh, but look at all these players, right? But that's not the point. I'm saying my frustration with them, they've got all these magnificent players. They're blessed with so much talent in every single position. And they may even be, despite being world champions, less than the sum of their parts as a result.
But so, I mean, you have just profoundly mischaracterised the argument I was making, because the first thing I said was that I found them thrilling and exciting to watch. So that's my argument here is actually about the fact that I have not found this iteration. I'm talking about from the knockout stages onwards. I have not found this France side dull at all. I've not found, I mean, yes, they've been structurally conservative, but as a result of, I mean, I'm hardly arguing for like park the bus anti-football here, because that stuff I really don't like. But this version of football where you're incredibly solid defensively and absolutely deadly on the break, I have found written out. Partly, obviously, this is because I have a rooting interest in France, but I do think there's also been a couple of games which really have borne out how exciting that can be. I'm
not sure I even buy that last bit, you know, because Argentina were a complete mess. Total mess, you know, defensively, and Croatia, they were deeply unlucky to be 2 down to have conceded 2 in the first half. I mean, you can chalk both of those off, and there's a whole slew of referees and pros would you know agree with that sentiment. So were they? In moments, they were stunning. In moments, I just don't think it's been. Yeah, but that's it. It's just in moments and details. And you know, United do a similar thing this season and start winning a few more games like that. And I think we might still feel like there could be something more from this.
If United play like. If United have as many moments of unbelievable quality as France had in this World Cup, and I don't mean as many moments because there's only like 7 games in a World Cup, but I mean, you know, if they have as many moments per game of extreme quality as France had in the knockout stages of this tournament, and we're complaining about the style of play at the end of the season if we win the league, I think we want our heads looking at.
Well, I put this one to Twitter just to get a sense that I wasn't being a nutcase here, and
okay, sorry, carry on.
Okay. So I put this one to Twitter just to check I wasn't, this isn't an Ed thing only. And I would say this is generally the sentiment, which is why I'm saying I think in 20 years' time, no one's getting misty-eyed about this team. Outside of France.
I get what you're saying, but this isn't a team that's set out to ruin every game of football they played in.
But I'm not saying
and
that,
make it scrappy and ugly.
I'm not saying that either. I'm saying they are less than the sum of the parts. And
you did call them bus parking anti-footballistas. I get that was a joke.
I may have been, jibing you a little bit there. I mean, the anti-footballistas bit is, actually, funny thing is Belgium and Croatia both accused them of being that after their respective defeats, And I'm not saying that France aren't thrilling in moments when Mbappe has the ball, a 60-yard ball over the top for Mbappe to chase, 60-yard ball from player at the tournament. Ish, almost, not quite. Paul Pogba to Mbappe is a thrilling moment. But when that is basically the only game plan, or get a free kick and have the big lad up front, not score, but the big lad at the back actually score. I find them just a bit one-dimensional. And the Spain side of 2010 was just far superior for me, and I know that's just my perspective. But it might be, I might be in time a widely held one. We'll see. Of course, to cement their legacy, what they're going to have to do, of course, is in the 2020 Euros, they're going to have to come to Wembley and beat Gareth Southgate's mighty England side.
I mean, final of the Euros and then win the World Cup the next time around. That's not too shabby, is it?
No.
Legacy cementing wise.
Absolutely. Mourinho won a lot of trophies as well.
Deux étoiles. Yeah, but much of Mourinho's career was defined by making pretty remarkable football teams. Like, the problem with Mourinho's United isn't that they're too much like Mourinho's Chelsea in 2005.
No, I agree.
Bite your hands off for Mourinho's Chelsea in 2005 at United.
But remember, Mourinho's 2004 to 6 Chelsea side was also accused of the same thing. Not bus parking, I don't think the term had even been created then, but something that not quite that exciting about them.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, maybe I'm just blinded by the individual. I know this is the argument that you kind of dismissed earlier, but I'm making. I think this is a very relevant argument that the individual brilliance was enough to make them kind of thrilling to watch often enough, and that the structured defensive platform they built was a perfect platform for that individual brilliance to shine.
Oh, sure. It's a very effective. I mean, and plus they basically played the tournament with 10 men because Olivier Giroud was up front for 6 out of the 7 games, and he's absolutely abysmal.
And the final point I wanted to make, which I'm not saying this is any kind of definitive argument, but it is rattling around my brain a lot, which is, look what happened to every other collection of talented individuals at this World Cup.
Oh, yeah.
France won the World Cup, Spain, Brazil, Germany, even Argentina, massive flops at the tournament in one way or another.
And this France side is the antithesis of a collection of individuals. They're certainly a team. That's not the point I'm making at all.
And the point that I'm making is that the galvanizing of individuals that talented into an effective team, like, that's why they won the World Cup. And so even you could say, oh well, maybe it would have been better if they'd played on the front foot more. And I don't fundamentally disagree with that as a statement, except to say that maybe they wouldn't have won the World Cup if they played on the front foot more.
I don't know. I'm not sure I'm buying that one, because that's the that's the argument that's used against Mourinho parking the bus at Anfield. But two episodes ago,
I argued that my problem with Deschamps, isn't one of kind of philosophy and like the kind of football I like to see, in inverted commas. It's that my instinct is that this is going to not be the way to get the best results out of France. But what's happened is he's won the World Cup. So I feel like I have to eat a degree of humble pie on that and say, okay, well, yeah, obviously there was a great deal of luck. But, even that point you made about like Croatia could have been 2 up, and they absolutely could. That penalty, I guess we've got to talk about VAR again, but that penalty was very questionable at best. And but once they had scored 2 goals, the third and fourth goal, which really won them the World Cup, were absolutely brilliant. I mean, the pass for Pogba in the lead up to his own goal, was maybe the pass of the tournament, So
sure,
they played some great football. This is my thing. Basically, I think the idea that like no one's going to get misty-eyed about them is almost like people are overreacting to something. They should get misty-eyed about them because some of the football this France team played, attacking football and defensive football, was as good as we've seen played since Spain, not in 2010 but in 2008.
Yeah, maybe. Always reactive, and I think that's my my challenge. And always, like it's always a reaction. So, almost never is it coming from them pressing their style on somebody else. But look, this is Deschamps. He's the coach. That's his coach. His coaching philosophy, and fair enough. It's one in the World Cup. Like details. We've talked an awful lot in the kind of meta picture here. Details. The first goal from the free kick, I mean, it's obviously a dive. He's anticipated the foul and just expected it to come in. The ref has bought it, but we've seen that millions of times over the year. I'm kind of surprised, why isn't that referred back to VAR? Because for me, that's an obvious error. Clear and obvious.
I mean, it's just free kicks that are not.
They're just not, but even though it leads to a goal.
Decisions. Yeah, that's a great question.
That's wrong for me. You know, France has scored from something they probably shouldn't have done. And then the penalty, I mean, you know, you'll get plenty of people arguing that as a penalty because the ball has moved towards the hand, but I think
because the hand's moved towards the ball.
The hand has moved towards the ball. I think that is totally natural. So the two qualifiers, right? So it has to be deliberate, right? One, the two qualifiers then are: does the hand move towards the ball? This is the bit that's written in the notes for Law 12, and is in a natural position. So, you know, I think it's perfectly natural to jump up and your arms go up with you, you know, and they sort of come down as he's sort of coming back down. And like the more fundamental one, he's just been blinded by the France player in front of him. But anyway, extremely unlucky.
I agree. I really do. I mean, I think the counter argument is that there is a reading of that really did look like he saw the ball coming and flapped his arm towards it as quickly as he could. But I'm not convinced by that argument at all.
No. I mean, in order to believe the argument, which is the one the ref must have believed, for him to say it's a deliberate handball, you then have to kind of like shut yourself off from the reality of football, because at what point, why? What would be the benefit to him for blocking it at that point? You know, it's a loop to ball in.
Yeah, because it wasn't. So. Yeah, it wasn't going anywhere really, was it? I mean, it's just it's like a bad defensive reaction in that way. But then, you know, we've seen like Samuel Umtiti punched a ball for no reason earlier in the tournament. Kyle Walker nearly took that Tunisian lad's head off, didn't he? Yep. First game, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but for not any good reason. Phil Jones against Eden Hazard in the FA Cup final. People make defensive mistakes. People do stupid stuff. By
the way, I don't think that's a VAR problem. I think it's just a bad referee error, and he's had an awful long time. I mean, you can't even say he's had to make a split decision. Then he's taken a minute to look at it, perhaps longer, and then he's gone back, and he still thinks that's a penalty. I was like, geez, not a VAR problem. The first one I think is a VAR problem, because if you're going to have VAR, why not expand it to anything that leads up to a goal?
The problem is, though, I mean, there is a problem to solve there, which is that do you do it before every direct free kick is taken?
No, only when the goal's scored, I think, because then you're only checking a very small percentage of them.
But you've got so much time between the direct free kick being given and it being taken that to then have like all the theatre of a goal from a direct free kick.
But it happens with a penalty.
You do the check.
It took ages for that to be referred. You know, the time from they're still playing. They're playing. I mean, and with the free kick, it's one phase of play, so it's not it's not impacting on the game itself. You know.
No, but it's such a like the biggest problem with VAR potentially, really, apart from people getting the decisions wrong, which that's fine, that's going to happen. The biggest problem with VAR is the anticlimax of a goal scored and celebrated and then ruled out. And I feel like I would much rather they checked every direct free kick, since they're just sat there in a room anyway. I'm not talking about the ref going and looking at his little screen. I'm talking about them doing the quick VAR check on the free kick before the free kick's taken, so that you don't bang one top bins after kind of 6 minutes of waiting around for walls to be formed, and then they go, okay, let's check this for VAR.
Sure, no, but you can do it as right. So the free kick's called. They're setting up. It's going to take them ages to set up. While that's happening, the VAR team can look at it. Does this look right or not? Is there a clear and obvious error?
But then call it back before they take the free kick.
If they do it, sure. If they do it fast enough, I mean, look, why not? I actually think the theatre of the referee going over to the touchline is ridiculous. You know, you got a qualified referee who's looking at the video. Let him call it. I don't think that's the problem, because in cricket they do the same thing when the video umpire has just as much power as the on the field umpires. They have some parameters, right? You know, it could stay with the umpire's decision, you know, depending on the ball. That's the ball tracking. In rugby league, they do the same thing. Actually, rugby league, they do the same thing. The video referee has just as much power as the on the field ref. You know, why? If you're going to do this, might as well fix all the problems. You know. So anyway. VAR. I'm sick of VAR, and I'm glad that we won't have VAR in the Premier League this season. It doesn't solve all the problems, so it creates new ones.
Yeah, I mean, we've had endless discussions about this, and you've accused me of whataboutery, which I was profoundly offended by.
Yeah, getting all Trump on me, you were.
The flip side of that argument, to say like, oh, it hasn't solved all the problems and it's created some new problems. Like, there is a solid flip side to that argument, which is it has solved quite a number of problems and maybe has still, well, definitely still has some big wrinkles to be sorted out. But like this World Cup, we're talking about this World Cup as being potentially the best of all time. And I don't think it's a total coincidence that VAR was involved in that. Like, I think some big decisions were right that would have otherwise been wrong. And there was something really nice about that.
I mean, I certainly agree that some big decisions were righted. Yeah. I don't know whether having a beta product out there in the world's biggest tournament. So I really don't know whether this is the testing ground for technology that isn't quite right. But, anyway, this will go on and on. Do we have VAR in the Champions League this year?
No idea.
You don't know.
It was the World Cup final then. So the two semi-finals, I thought Belgium really struggled to impose themselves. People hammering Romelu Lukaku for basically two bad first touches maybe. Nobody notices when Romelu Lukaku's first touch is good. It's ridiculous. And I'm not talking about like the real baddies. I'm not talking about the anti-Sterling male Sun types. I'm talking about like cool hipster young football fans who've decided that Romelu Lukaku has a bad first touch and therefore must be pilloried for it. He's so good. He didn't have a brilliant game, but he had a very, very good tournament. He was absolutely immense against Brazil in particular.
Yeah.
But Hazard was also amazing in that game and slightly less effective against France. But I thought France's central defenders were brilliant in the game against Brazil in a way that they weren't against Croatia. When actually that first half, I thought France looked genuinely shaky and Croatia probably a little profligate. I haven't looked at the data, but that was certainly my experience of watching it live. It felt like Croatia were bang on top and probably should have been making more of the advantage that they had in that first half.
I think that's fair enough. Yeah, they were seriously on top until the goal, the first goal, and that clearly took some of the wind out of their sails, and it took them a while to establish that kind of dominance again. But in terms of football, they played most of it, and this is a clash of styles, of course. It's when you play like France do, Deschamps won't give a sausage about that kind of argument that Croatia had the ball and they were playing the better football, because he didn't want the ball. He doesn't want the ball. 30 to 35% possession is what he's looking for. He's looking for everything in the transition. And so, as long as he's happy with his back four and they aren't conceding goals, then what does it matter? I suppose, but they were playing nice football.
And I'm not. I was talking about. I wasn't really talking about them having the ball and passing it around nicely. I was talking about them looking actually dangerous.
Oh, sure.
Like Varane and Umtiti were not on their game in the way they looked maybe even a little bit nervous. I mean, it's a World Cup final. If you can't be nervous for the World Cup final, when can you be? I mean, but then someone, of course, who wasn't nervous for the World Cup final was Paul Pogba, Manchester United's fourth ever active player player at United to win a World Cup after Charlton and Nobby Stiles and that lad who was on the bench for England in 1966. But yeah, just an absolutely brilliant performance from Pogba. Again, superb defensively, as he was. I mean, he was amazing against Belgium, and if it wasn't for Mbappe's kind of devastating brilliance, you'd have given man of the match to Pogba all day, every day, I thought.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of. He's had a very, very good tournament, Pogba. He in the 6 games he's played, I think he's been excellent in all of them. I've seen some kind of narrative develop that, why can't he play like this for Manchester United? He does. He does frequently. The problem is that over a 50-game season, he also has some bad ones. I guess we'd like him to be at an 8 out of 10 every single week. And maybe that's what separates the top 3 players in the world from everyone else, and maybe he'll get there. But, the amount of criticism he gets for not being an 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 every single week is ridiculous.
Yeah, it must be amazing for him to, having been on the receiving end of so much criticism, including from noted Thatcherite Graham Souness. Google it, lads.
Did you see Souness's post-match? He was on beIN Sports. He didn't really mention Pogba by name, but I did think it was kind of funny because it was a pretty easy trope for everyone to kind of pull out that Souness would be struggling with this one. I mean, he looks like he's having a talk about the game after being told his entire family had been killed. It's through gritted teeth he hated it.
He should be genuinely ashamed of himself, not just as a person, which he should be, but as a pundit. He should be ashamed of how wrong he is. When not that obviously I'm not a pundit on Graham Souness's level or whatever, but when I say something really stupid on this podcast and it turns out to be wrong, I always feel like if I remember it, I'll always try and apologise for it. But Graham Souness he should be ashamed of saying that Paul Pogba should be on the bench for France.
I don't want to go straight to the obvious, but I don't think this is a neutral opinion, lads. I just don't.
No, I mean, absolutely. Kylian Mbappe, high fiver of protesters, goal scorer in the World Cup final, surely nailed on to be the most expensive player in the world at some time in the next 2 seasons or whatever.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, he answered in the press conference after the World Cup that would he be at PSG, and he said absolutely. Of course, there's other stuff that could stop that happening. I suspect PSG, being French ish, would sell Neymar before they had to not action their clause on Mbappe. I suspect,
especially after this World, like never mind the French part, but after this World Cup, Mbappe's the hot property, isn't
That's right. I mean, there's a question for Mbappe. Does he really want to play in Ligue 1 for the rest of his life? Because he's just waiting for the Champions League, the 12 Champions League games or whatever he gets to play if PSG actually ever do anything.
I really hope that what he decides is that basically he just absolutely loves really good ship canals.
Yeah. No, what he loves is Mourinho ball because it works for him. Where better to get Mourinho ball than the inventor of Mourinho ball?
I've been doing this running gag, which I think I stole from somewhere all the way, I can't remember where, all the way through the tournament of Liberté, Égalité, Mbappé since the Argentina game. So it was nice seeing him actually stand for liberty and égalité after when he high-fived the protesters. It was nice. I mean, obviously, I don't think he knew who they were. I'm going to assume. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's super clued up. But, still.
Well, they're not unknown, are they? Pussy Riot. They've been doing prison time. And they will be doing more prison time, I suspect.
Talking of prison time, which is a thing we definitely shouldn't joke about, Hugo Lloris should probably be sent to prison for that.
Wow. I mean, it's really, really fortunate for him that didn't matter.
Yeah. We've got through 40 minutes of this show without even mentioning that it happened.
I know. I mean, he's actually had a good tournament. I don't think I'd call him goalkeeper of the tournament, even so. But there'd been a very good shout for it. But definitely not after that. That's ruined it.
Yeah. Yes. It was, oh dear. Deary me, Hugo. And he really has had a good tournament, especially on the back of a pretty poor Premier League season by his standards. That was just absolutely calamity. He's fully done a Karius, and so Karius is catching. So this is clearly a thing that happens.
A thing
in
that Karius doesn't
now.
do, by the way. Oh God, I feel sorry for him because he's been playing pre-season games and he's been making absolute ricks in the pre-season games, and it's all over Twitter. That concussion is lasting an awful long time, lads.
The other thing that doesn't happen in major finals is Antoine Griezmann scoring a penalty. So I was proper nervous, but when he scored it, I went pretty nuts. Watched this with friend of the show Darren Richmond in a pub in central London before going to see Paul Simon in Hyde Park, which was really good. But the bit that I properly lost it for was when Pogba scored. Just the feeling of kind of, I don't know, the redemption arc of it all, because Mourinho's treated him so ridiculously this season, and he has put in some good performances for us, but he hasn't been able to be consistent.
Imagine lifting the World Cup, being one of the players of the tournament, winning the plaudits of everyone worldwide, and then looking back and realising you got dropped for Scott McTominay.
Manager's player of the season. Jose Mourinho's player of the World Cup, definitely Scott McTominay.
Right. So how was Art Garfunkel's less talented ex-partner?
I mean, of all the untrue things you've ever said on this podcast, Art's got a lovely singing voice, but we know where the talent is, don't we? I mean, he was absolutely brilliant, actually. He was really, really magnificent. This is his last tour, unless that turns out to be a lie. That's a bit Paul Simon humour for you.
Yeah. Depends whether he needs cash or not, normally.
Yeah, exactly. Like a boxer. Anyway, he definitely doesn't need the cash. He's donated all the cash from this tour. And he's Paul Simon. Can't imagine what circumstances he'd need cash. But yeah, it was really good. Talking of really good, should we attempt to put together a best 11 of the World Cup?
Yeah.
All right.
It's gonna be
You're going to hear typing while we do this, listeners, because I want to try and write this down.
All right. Well, goalkeeper. Who are the candidates then?
Lloris, Pickford.
Courtois. Not Big Dave, unfortunately. He did his hopes of ruining a transfer to Real Madrid. The world of good.
Yeah. Well, it's because once the Real Madrid manager had left, he wasn't bothered about impressing anyone anymore.
That's right. Any other goalkeepers really stand out?
I mean, the 45-year-old guy stood out because he was the Egyptian guy, because he was 45, but he only played one game.
Yeah.
And they lost to
Definitely
Saudi
not
Arabia.
Neuer. He had a Rick as well.
Yeah.
I did a really strange decision now. I know I mentioned it before, but he hadn't played for a year and he suddenly comes straight back into the team against Ter Stegen, bona fide one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. Really.
That's the really, really, really weird thing about it, isn't it? It was because it's not like, it's not like, I don't know, putting De Gea straight back in the side after Romero has had the gloves for a year. This is like Ter Stegen, one of the best, So yeah, very, very strange. But he's Germany captain.
Yeah,
I think it's Jordan Pickford. I mean, maybe I'm just biased, or maybe I'm inclined to try and reward some England players for their brilliant run. But I thought Pickford was excellent.
Yeah,
really.
All right. The patriotic choice.
Courtois I would definitely be second because of what Lloris did in the final, I guess.
Yeah. That's you're on for a 9.5 or whatever the ice skating equivalent is, and you've fallen on your ass big time, and you got a 4 there, so out of the reckoning.
Yeah. So again, patriotic, but I think correct. Well, actually doubly patriotic, because I think the contenders for best right back of the tournament are basically Benjamin Pavard, which nobody would have said that in a million years, but Kieran Trippier.
Yeah, and Pavard's got bad hair. Bad hair.
I don't get it. I genuinely don't get this. I get some of your hair
He's got a Mark Hughes haircut, right? Look, check the curls, right? He's got the curls, but he's flattened it with grease, right? Except he doesn't even have the flicky thing at the back to go for the full kind of mod rocker look. It's wrong. It's all wrong.
I like this. I like that you've thought about it. But Kieran Trippier...
Trippier's had a great
pick,
tournament,
right?
and he'll be your dead ball specialist as well, because boy, does he put in a good free kick, corner, or cross.
That goal he scored, I know I said earlier I had a little moment of, oh dear, is this too early? But that came after a lot of jumping around, and it's coming home in my house.
Yeah, fair enough. Central defenders, well, both the French lads had excellent tournaments. else. Titi and
Maguire.
Varane. Harry Maguire's had an
English.
Excellent tournament as well. What formation are we playing here? Are we playing a 3 at the back or a good old British 4-4-2?
Well, it's a good old British 3 at the back nowadays.
That's right. Although it still is a bit
I
static as a 3 at the back, isn't it? Yeah, but
Yerry Mina has to be
Colombian
in the conversation as well. Yeah, because I thought he scored 3 goals in 3 games. Obviously, that's not what he's in the team for. But I thought he was defensively absolutely magnificent, and basically the reason England didn't win that game in normal time was Yerry Mina's extraordinary dealing with England set pieces for a lot of that.
That's right.
So I'd almost be tempted to go with like a back 3 of the 2 French guys and Mina.
You're saying old Slabhead isn't in here? That's Andrew Page.
Are we having 3 England players in our back 4?
They did make it to the semi-finals.
Yeah, they did. That's true. All right. What about Varane, Mina, and Maguire? Or Umtiti?
Varane's a better player than Umtiti.
I know he's a better player
and had
but
a better tournament. His performance in the semi-final was outstanding.
So was Umtiti, but Umtiti did that punchy thing in the Australia game. So, yeah, that's docked him.
We can come back and check whether we really believe this later. Left back's a tough one because Hernandez I really don't think much of, but he's had, he hasn't had to. He's not been an outlet for France.
He did so much rolling around as well.
Yeah.
Losing points for rollies.
Actually, Young, he's had a good tournament, but not a great tournament. I mean, pretty good for a 33-year-old, mind you.
Probably a better World Cup than almost anyone thought Ashley Young would have if we were having this discussion a season and a half ago.
Nasser Chadli had a lot of very excellent games.
But how many games did he play?
No, he played 7. He played in all of them. And you know what? A nice statistic on this one. He played 7 games for West Brom last season as well.
All right,
which is quite unbelievable. We might have to park that one. I'm going to have a think during this.
The other thing that I was thinking is we should potentially have a Uruguay player in the back 4, but it would be one of the central defenders, and I don't think they would take any of those spots. No.
And the other player who's been really excellent, I think, is Belgium's Thomas Meunier, who's a very, very fine attacking player. Missed the games through suspension and missed one through not playing it. So
he's not having Trippier's spot.
He's not in Trippier's spot, though, so yeah.
All right, here's my pitch for a midfield 3.
Okay.
We're going 5-3-2 because we've got 3 at the back now.
Yep.
Modric, Pogba. I want to say Kante.
I think that's fair enough. It's definitely none of the England midfielders. As hard as Lingard's the best of the England midfield for sure, but it's not much to pick from. Pogba and Modric definitely. Kante's been the best defensive midfielder in this tournament.
What about? That was also
unless you're counting Marouane Fellaini's. Witzel's had an excellent tournament, by the way, but he's not the same player as Kante and hasn't had as good a tournament as Kante. But yeah, Fellaini for his cameo.
Yeah, that one game.
That's right.
The cameo against Japan.
But that's enough for his fans, right?
What about someone like Inouye, or someone from a team that didn't make it to the all the way
bench on the bench, but
Yeah, okay, we'll have a bench.
You'd be struggling to justify Inouye ahead of Kante. Really.
I think now we're starting to enter the zone of it being extremely difficult because my initial thinking would be something like Cheryshev, Mbappe, and
of course, one we have to mention in the midfield stage, Golovin had an excellent tournament as well for Russia.
Oh yeah. Maybe he should have Kante's spot.
No, he's more attacking.
I know, but I don't mean he would play there. In the team of the tournament, we've got 3 midfield players. Did Golovin play in midfield or did he kind of play up front?
No, he played in midfield, but it's a half position. But yeah.
All right, so then up front, I've gone for a front 3 of Cheryshev, Mbappe, and Eden Hazard. That's my kind of initial pitch.
And we got too many players. We've got 12 there.
Oh yeah,
you got 2 up front. So
all right,
Mbappe's going to have to be in.
let's drop Kante.
And we can't put Kane in because he had a dog of a tournament, even though he scored 6
no
goals.
way.
How many? He scored 3 penalties, 1 off his heel, 1 header at the back post,
2 headers against Tunisia from like 2 yards out each of them.
Amazing.
Or was the first one might not have been a header actually? So I reckon we have Hazard. We play Hazard just ahead of Pogba and Modric, and then have Cheryshev and Mbappe up front.
So you're dropping Kante for Hazard. Hazard got to be in. He was very close to the player of the tournament. Yeah,
I think
hard on De
Mbappe,
Bruyne because he's
Cheryshev,
also had an excellent tournament.
He wasn't. De Bruyne was
excellent.
quite bad against France. I thought.
Yeah.
Like I thought he made the wrong decision a lot of
Plus,
times.
he's got a very funny skin colour. I mean, I'm really worried for him. His blood pressure is just off. It's off the scale.
Ed.
Yeah.
You can't rule out players from team of the tournament because their skin colour. We are not Graham Souness.
I can. I'm kind of pasty white guy, so I'm allowed to rule him out on his pastiness. It's, us pasty bros are allowed to do that.
All right, okay. So, Pickford, Trippier, Varane, Mina, Maguire, Chadley. I'm annoyed about Chadley being in there because he's only in there because we need a
left back.
If we somehow pretend that Maguire could play left back.
No,
okay. All right. Pickford, Trippier, Varane, Mina, Maguire, Chadley, Modric, Pogba, Hazard, Cheryshev, Mbappe. I mean, Chadley is so... What about having Nacho in there? At least he scored that goal. Mind you, Chadley did score a pretty important goal.
Yeah, but I'm not even sure Nacho is that good. I mean, if I was picking a Spain player, it'd be Isco.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking...
Nacho didn't even play... Nacho didn't even play in that many... He didn't play every game, did he? He didn't play the final...
Maybe not. All right, I'm looking up who, statistically speaking, was the best left back in the tournament. If we go by who scored, just in case. Oh, load of players who played one game, and then weirdly, Marcelo is the only player that played multiple games. Nasser Chadley, you said he played in every game.
I thought he had.
Oh, he did. Yeah, played in 6 games. Yeah, made 4 starts but he only played at left back once.
He played at right back once. Left wing back
and then
a
he
bunch
played
of times.
in midfield.
No, well, he's playing wing back, though. Yeah.
Let me make sure I've got wing backs. No, I think this includes wing backs.
Are you doing a who scored position selector thing?
Yeah.
Left back and wing back are rated differently, yeah. They're different positions.
So, okay, I tell you what. What about Ashley Young gets in the side above Chadley? Because I think Ashley Young had a better World Cup than Nasser Chadley.
He probably did, but we got too many England players. I mean,
that would only be 1, 2,
5,
3, 4,
6.
and they'd all be in the defence.
Which would be fair enough. Well, maybe it may be a patriotic choice, but anyway, it's a fine team.
It's a Man United choice. I'm happier with that. I'm happier with the balance of the side.
Maybe we should drop Varane for Phil Jones. I mean,
2 United players in the team of the tournament now. I mean, one of them may have been slightly artificially swung in there. Now, Modric won the official Golden Ball. Are we happy with that? Do we think it should have been one of these others?
I mean, it's super close. He's obviously performed outstandingly in the knockout stages, and I think that's the thing that everyone's going to remember.
He was really good in the group stages.
He was really good in the group stages too. Yeah, didn't play in the final one, did he? Against Iceland.
No, that's right. So didn't need him by then. I mean, I think other players that are in with a shout. I think if Belgium had got to the final, then Hazard would definitely have been in with a shout.
Didn't we put him in the team in the end?
Oh, he's in the team. I'm talking about players who you could say were realistically
super close,
player
I
of the
think.
tournament.
Yeah.
Pogba, I definitely think is part of the conversation, but he was probably only France's best player in the final.
Now, we talked about Pogba turning it on for the tournament. Hazard's turned it on for the tournament, but I think Hazard's a much bigger fraud than Paul Pogba and doesn't get anywhere near the same criticism. 6 years in England, and he's had a season and a half of good football.
2.5 seasons.
Maybe 2.
6, I think.
Yeah. It's not enough, is it, for a player of his talent?
He's so good, and he should definitely go to Madrid, where I don't think he would be. I think he would have zero fraud time if he went to a proper club where they were like where the level of talent around him matched his ability, I don't think he'd be a fraud in that situation. I don't think, you know what I mean? I think his big fraud...
Until they re-employed Jose.
Have we done a podcast since Ronaldo went to...
No, we haven't. We haven't talked about it at all. Stunning. I mean, it's like, obviously not... I mean, do you get return on investment on a 33-year-old for 100 million euros?
No, I believe the answer to that question is no. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, genuinely,
how do they afford it? I mean, TV rights in Italy are nowhere near what they are in England. Absolute fraction. I mean, maybe they've got a very good commercial game.
I mean, isn't this just Ferrari and Fiat and
well, no, related party payments, you can't do that. I guess they'll probably sell a couple of players, is probably the answer.
I mean, when I was going to say the Pogba money had to go somewhere, but it's gone already, isn't it? It went on Higuain, the Pogba money. Maybe they'll sell Higuain, but they won't get anywhere near what they paid for him. But, the other thing is, isn't Cristiano Ronaldo genuinely worth 100 million to a club from a commercial perspective? I mean, maybe I'm being naive about that.
Yeah, might well be. Maybe this is the thing that helps break Juve into the next level of commercial deals, the kind of level of commercial deals that United are able to do. Maybe this is the thing that helps globalise them. In the way that, say when Aon were United sponsor, they talked about United having a global platform and helping to globalise their brand. Maybe Cristiano does that to Juve. It sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Because this is a more than 100-year-old club that's won like 40 Serie A titles in the last 7
in a row.
Yeah, that's right. But maybe in this kind of globalized media and sponsorship market, they need that kind of thing to help them break into that next level.
And there isn't a player alive, maybe even including Messi, who is the kind of commercial powerhouse that Ronaldo is. Because Ronaldo is so much... I mean, not that Messi isn't commercialised all to heck and back, because obviously he is, but, Ronaldo looks the way he looks and is completely comfortable with, he when he signed for Juve, the top tweet on his account, the most recent tweet on his account for quite a long time after the signing had gone through, when I'm sure he knew a lot of people would be looking at his Twitter account, was some random partnership that he had, some commercial deal with someone I'd never heard of. So he's Mr. Commerce, isn't he?
He certainly is, and he'll be enjoying his many millions from Juve for what did he sign for? 3 or 4 years, something like that. He said he's going to play till 40, and he'll score a big load of goals in Italy. They are the best team in Italy by miles and miles, and although it's a competitive race this year, wasn't it? He'll score loads. He'll score loads, as he's been scoring loads for Real for the last 9 years. So,
from a United perspective, any kind of any annoyance, any sort of sense that we're missing out on something?
Only if there was unlimited budget. I mean, if you have to play in the real world and United have to rationalise their money and their, the EBITDA cash was about 180 odd million. Of course, it doesn't directly translate to free cash flow, although it's a pretty good proxy in football terms because of the way the contracts are amortised. Imagine the United do that and a bit more for the next 4 or 5 years or something like that. There's a hell of a lot of cash to play with, but still, that would be like half the year's budget. Would we really want to put half our budget on a player that is not going to get any better than he is now, and obviously what he is now is a very, very, very high bar? I don't know. It's one of those ones where you might have said if we filled every position we wanted to fill, the obvious gaps in the team and the squad, and you had some money over, and you didn't mind breaking the bank because you realised it would, have that commercial boost, then do it. Yeah.
And I guess it's harder for United to get a massive commercial boost given how commercially exposed they already are.
Also, where's he going to go in their team? He can't, he'd have to kick Romelu out.
Yeah, play Romelu wide right.
Could do, because
like Ronaldo up front and Romelu Lukaku on the right, putting in those devastating crosses. Just sign Kieran Trippier and then we're made. All right, so last bit of World Cup talk, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to keep talking about the World Cup forever. I wanted this World Cup to go on forever. It's happened in a heat wave in England, and the next World Cup's going to be in November and December of 22 in absolutely hateful circumstances. So I genuinely don't think we'll be doing World Cup coverage in the way we did for this one, for that one, because I feel like I'd have to take a step back, because you can't just ignore how many people have died for that World Cup. I mean, I'm not saying that glorifying an oppressive regime is okay. It certainly isn't. But anyway,
it sounded like it. All right, Nige.
We'll
start calling you, and Sarge from now on, shall we?
Listen, that's very upsetting. I'm a European man. Goal of the tournament. That's the last thing left to award.
Oh, this is a hard one. What are our contenders? We've got 15 attempts from Cherchev, who scored how many ridiculous goals? Lots.
The Quaresma Trivela, which I saw again yesterday, and it's just amazing. I mean, there's the Nacho goal and the Pavard goal, but I think you've got to pick one of them to be in the running.
I mean, we had this debate before, and Pavard's looks better because it's in the top corner. Nacho hits it cleaner. So it's probably Pavard's because it looks better. But there's an absolute... Was it Cherchev who scored the banger with his left foot in the quarters?
It was
Cherchev. Sorry, I keep saying his name wrong, don't I? Cherchev. What do you get? 4 goals in the tournament, and they're all worldies.
I think 3 of them were. There was the outside of the boot one in the first game, and then. But my favourite Cheryshev goal was the one against Croatia, because it just has no backlift.
None.
Top
corner.
Suddenly appears out of nowhere. Got to put Jesse Lingard against Panama in the conversation, but I don't think it wins.
Probably not. No. Probably not the best, but he does that every week, so we're just used to it.
He didn't do it in the semi, did he? The Angel Di Maria goal in the France game. I mean, he has too much space for that to be the goal of the tournament, but it's definitely has to be part of the conversation, doesn't it? On the BBC, they put Messi's goal against Nigeria, Croatia, the last game.
I mean, it's a beautiful goal, but I just have to. I'm not sure I can do that as goal of the tournament, because it's a lovely piece. It's a beautifully weighted pass, and he takes it on the run and scores first time. It's a more dynamic version of that one that Marcelo Salas scored against England at Wembley all those years back. And
I think
great goal, but he does it every week. He scores better goals than that 2 or 3 times a week. So I don't know.
I thought Ahmed Musa's version of that was better as well, because he took the ball on his knee, which kind of on his thigh really, and took it on the run and then banged it into the goal. So I kind of preferred Musa's. If Pogba didn't have the rebound on his, that would definitely be a contender, just for the incredible brilliance of the pass in the build-up to that. But that just gets a little bit scrappy at the end, so you can't give it to that. And if Olivier Giroud had actually scored the one where Mbappe took the ball in with a ridiculous skill and then backheeled it through to him, Olivier Giroud, you ruined the goal of the tournament. My favourite goal is the Quaresma goal. I just think that goal is so stupid. There's something hilarious about the fact that that's just Quaresma's thing. He's just going to do it, and he did it at the World Cup, and it was amazing.
Yeah. I don't know, we're talking about frauds. He's had a career worth of being a fraud. What a talented player he is, and has never really done it. It's beautiful. Oh, the one we haven't talked about, of course, Ronnie's free kick.
Yeah.
In the circumstances, with the instep, it still doesn't really curl from right to left. Sort of does. Trippier's against Croatia.
Trippier's did.
Yeah, another fine goal. Toni Kroos, we didn't mention.
Oh, yeah.
Threading the eye of the needle. The most pointless piece of genius ever.
Apart from maybe Quaresma's. Because it's his only move. So, which one of these goals is goal of the tournament?
Oh,
I'm tempted to give it to Cheryshev, because in a lot of ways, Russia were the story of the tournament, and they did run an awful long way, but they also did some pretty wonderful things with the ball in an attacking sense.
They did. Ricardo Quaresma's. It's totally the wrong part of his foot. It's just outrageous. I just wonder if he's lucked that in, though.
No, he hasn't. He's done that. You can't... Listen, there's a lot of things you can accuse Ricardo Quaresma of, but that not being a thing he can do isn't one of them.
Yeah, all right. I mean, it's a wonderful piece of skill and a long way out and on the run. I think that probably adds up to a better goal than the rest.
All right, well done to Ricardo Quaresma. Fitting that he should have one goal of the tournament for one weird moment of brilliance, given that's kind of who he is as a player. So that's the...
That's all right. So are we previewing United's massive game against Club America then?
Well, I thought rather than previewing the specifics...
I've done some deep research on that game.
Have you?
No,
All right, we'll talk about that then.
I don't know any of their players. There aren't any United players there all at the World Cup. We had a lot of players in the World Cup semi-finals.
When I looked at the list on the Man United's website of the first of all, I just want to state for the record, I'm sure there are people listening to this who are somehow excited that Man United are back. Cannot relate. Hard cannot relate. Just wish United weren't happening this season, basically, after this World Cup. But they are, and we're going to cover it. But when I looked at this list of pre-season games, the first two are against Club America and San Jose Earthquakes. And I'm pretty sure they are the exact first two teams we played in the second summer of Van Gaal. If we have a season ahead, anything like what that season was like, that'd be real bad. That
would be real bad, yeah. So I guess they play Club America at Santa Clara, the 49ers Stadium, and then San Jose Earthquakes about 2 miles away at their stadium in San Jose. And then what's after that? There's a game against Real Madrid, a game against AC Milan.
So it goes in order. So we play on the Friday night, Thursday night, Friday morning against Club America. And then we play on the Sunday night at 10 o'clock UK time against San Jose Earthquakes. Then Wednesday night, Thursday morning against Milan. And that's in the International Champions Club.
In LA, I think.
These are all in America. Yeah. Then Liverpool on the Saturday evening and that's in the big house where we played Madrid the other year. And then we play Madrid on the following Wednesday. Then we back to Europe for a game against Bayern Munich.
And what jest there was between the Bayern Twitter and the United Twitter about that game.
That annoyed me, that did. I don't mind a bit of corporate banter, but it was just... it was because they called it the UCL, instead of calling it, just calling it 99 or whatever.
Yeah. No, it was wrong, wasn't it? Too corporate, too international. They're like, our 690 million followers might not know what the Champions League is, or 99. Yeah. That's right. Should call it the European Cup, because that's what it is.
The Madrid game is in Florida. Now, I'm sure I remember a lot of talk about how United's pre-season tours of America would be confined to one coast from now on, but this is definitely coast-to-coast scenes, isn't it?
Yeah, long old flight, coast to coast. So Florida, where in Florida? North or south?
Hold on a second.
It's going to be hot either way.
Yeah, it is. So that's the Real Madrid game. They don't show the venues until you click on buy tickets. That's in Miami, so
hot.
South Florida. The Milan game is in
LA.
That's
LA.
Oh,
it's
okay.
in Pasadena,
so that's right. Okay, at the Galaxy Stadium, is that? I wonder if Zlatan will be there.
Yeah, that's right. It got moved from the Rose Bowl.
Okay.
I guess they didn't sell enough tickets, and it's now at StubHub.
Right, okay. How is this? The stadium's been named after things like that. It'll never sit right with me.
I've never been to the StubHub Centre. Maybe I'll go. I'll be in LA in September for a couple of weeks, so I may go and see if I can check out Zlatan, who's still scoring again, by the way.
Of course he is. I mean, he was always going to score. And I think Sweden should have taken Zlatan to the World Cup. I know this is a controversial opinion, but I think Zlatan is better than Marcus Berg. Anyway.
He is, but he ruins teams' games, and Sweden did all right. And Wayne Rooney made his debut for DC United the other night. Didn't score.
Well done. Welcome to DC United. This pre-season tour, obviously, as you said, a lot of United players have gone deep into the World Cup, so they won't be there. I'm sure Paul Pogba might make an appearance against Bayern in August or whatever, but he's not going to be around. But a player who won't necessarily be part of the early part of United's tour of America is someone who was not at the World Cup, who you would have expected to be there, and that's Alexis Sanchez, who can't go to America at the moment because he's on serving a suspended sentence for something in Spain, which I didn't look up what it was, but I'm going to guess tax. That seems to be what everything
so he's
is.
banned from travelling to America. Yeah, interesting. I actually hadn't seen that story. Look, there's an issue here because Mourinho has made quite a lot of pre-season being very important in the past. He thinks having games is really vital. If he sticks to past form, none of the World Cup players, so Romelu, Fellaini, Jesse, Phil Jones, Marcus didn't play too much, but they're still out there, and there's the mental fatigue of it. Pogba, all of that clutch players won't be available for the start of the season. There is a narrative that says he's going to have to chop and change an awful lot. A lot of younger players are going to have to play at the start of the season. Could go badly wrong, and third season meltdown is going to happen.
We've the fixtures are out, aren't they, for the first part of the season? And United's first 2 home games on a Monday night at 8:00, which means I'm not going to go to either of those.
They start on Friday night as well. Is it away at Leicester?
Oh yeah, sorry, yeah, Friday at 8, and then the Monday, and it's at home on the Friday night, then away to Brighton, and then home on the Monday night. To Spurs after that. And yeah, I mean, that Leicester game is on the 10th of August, which is less than a month away as we record this, because it's the 16th of July now. And so Pogba is not going to be ready for that game, surely, after the season he had before this World Cup, and then the kind of...
Well, they have to have 2 full weeks off before getting back into light training. So... Yeah.
And that's not a lot of rest, is it?
Really.
Chris Smalling...
Especially as Pogba will be partying in LA all of that time.
With Lukaku, probably. Chris Smalling has had the best summer out of any United player as far as apart from Pogba winning the World Cup, obviously. He just looks like he's had the most amazing holiday. He went all around Southeast Asia. He learned to speak Vietnamese. He's been promoting veganism. I might have to change my opinion on Chris Smalling based solely on
how... It was when he gave up the meat that he went bad.
It's how good he's been on social media this summer.
Well, I mean, assuming Eric Bailly's fit, he'll start the season with Eric Bailly, I would guess. And Antonio Valencia didn't play in the World Cup, so he'll be available. Luke Shaw, Luke Shaw will not start the season because it doesn't really matter if Ashley Young plays 0 minutes. He will still be in the team.
Yeah, pre-season and almost every United season since Fergie left, I've been interested in one way or another in pre-season. Obviously, I had to cover it professionally for several of those years, which forced me to watch games. I'm definitely not watching either the Club America or the San Jose game, by the way. Might watch the San Jose game.
You're totally going to watch the San Jose. Don't give me all this. You're going to watch it. I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. to watch Club America, but I'll watch it the next day.
I'm not watching that the next day. I am not. No, I refuse. That game is going to be so bad in terms of What
about when Angel Gomez scores an outrageous hat trick? One Rabona, one overhead, and one 40-yard free kick.
I will happily watch the highlights of that game in GIF form. Yeah, but this is the least excited I've been about United.
Angel Gomez as well, not Andre Gomez.
Yeah.
He's the rather ineffective forward for Portugal and AC Milan.
Oh, I thought you'd said Angel Gomez. I thought
That'd be wrong as well, because he's at least not really an Angel, is he?
No, he's an angel. A little angel, so he is. But yeah, I don't know how anyone can be excited about this season. I really don't. I mean, there is natural pre-season optimism, which is a normal thing among football fans, but the signing of Fred, Diogo Dalot and Lee Grant, I don't think is going to close the gap on...
No, it's definitely not. And which is another sign of meltdown coming. I mean, you got to presume that in the next 3 weeks, basically, Woodward has the hammer on him, Mourinho's hammer. Do deals, buy left back, probably buy centre back, buy right-sided forward.
And if he doesn't, it's all just going to be so miserable. I had a dream we signed Gareth Bale, an actual, literal dream that Man United signed Gareth Bale.
Still possible, of course, still possible. There was one Phil Brown of Beyond the Pitch was saying that was one where Mourinho was like, I've prioritised other stuff, so that's your business, but don't take my budget away. I don't know whether that's true or not. But he's got to meet his new manager and find out whether he's going to be in the team or not.
Yeah, I mean, Ronaldo's gone. Imagine rocking up to Real Madrid and going, I can't be bothered with Gareth Bale. He's so good. What's wrong? I don't get what's wrong with people. He's amazing. I was worried about his ankles, but he's, pretty okay last season, wasn't he? So... Anyway, is that enough?
I think that's
talk?
it.
Well, I guess
that's it.
This is it now. There's no more nice podcast where we don't have to talk about United.
No, but when are we starting the actual weekly podcast again? Are we doing it through the summer tour?
Yes, we are. So we're going to do a podcast today, this one, which is the week commencing the 16th. We're not going to do one the week commencing the 23rd, but we'll be back the week after, the week commencing the 30th. So United will have played Club America, San Jose Earthquakes, Milan and Liverpool. By that time, we'll have a little chat about that, and then there'll still be the Bayern friendly to come, and then the real stuff.
The real stuff starts
after that.
It's never ending, is it?
Yeah. So, and then that'll be weekly podcasts, unless something terrible happens to me.
I don't know about you, but I'm thoroughly looking forward to Burnley 0, United 0, pissing it down on a Thursday night. With Scott McTominay up front.
It's coming home. It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming.
No.
Yeah.
Jose's coming home.
Burnley away. Anti-football's coming home. Burnley away Saturday the 1st of September.
All right, very good. Well, it's been a great World Cup. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Even if you bloody French won.
Yes. Honestly, I was so sad when England lost, and so happy when France won the World Cup yesterday. Like, it was amazing because, it's been 20 years. That's quite a long time, 20 years since they last won one. And the fact that it was Pogba was so at the heart of it made it such a kind of special event. So yeah,
very good. Well, I hope you've enjoyed listening to our special World Cup rankcasts. Looking at the numbers, lots of you tuned in, so that might just be it auto-downloading from the subscribers on iTunes, and none of you actually listened. We don't know, but I'm going to tell myself that you did bother, and we like to talk about it anyway. So it's been fun, and I'm thoroughly looking forward to digesting United's absolutely pointless summer tour of the United States. Perhaps we could pick out best commercial arrangement.
Yeah, we're going to do best 11 of the tour. We're going to do goal of the tour. We're going to treat the tour like it's the World Cup as a sort of methadone. I wanted to give extra special thanks to producer Tom, who both convinced us to give the bonus content away for free last week and also turned it into something really, really special by taking the time to put the music together and all that. So
it was very good. It's almost like he's a pro at these things.
Yeah, almost. But the fact that he's a pro at these things and still takes the time to make our show good, is brilliant. So yeah, as Ed says, thanks to everyone for listening during the World Cup. It's been an absolutely wonderful World Cup, and we'll see you in 4 years. No, we won't. We'll see you in 2 years where we'll do the Euros.
See you then. Bye now.
Thanks for listening, everybody. In order that we don't have to sell our souls to the various advertisers who choose to advertise on podcasts, we decided that we would make the Rankcast a crowd-funded thing. If you want to back the show, you can head over to patreon.com/rankcast. Last week you got a taste of what the bonus content is like. I have to say, in order to not be doing false advertising here, that was a particularly good example, thanks to Tom's excellent work. But we've done bonus content again this week, as we do every week. And this week we tried to pick an all-time World Cup 11, because I'm just not ready to let the World Cup go yet. 2010?
Was he good?
He was good.
Did he have to do anything? Because Spain had like 95% possession for the whole tournament.
No, that's true. 2006 Buffon. Ooh, I'm tempting myself here, Ed. I'm tempting myself with a Gigi.
I'm trying to think, how good was he in 2006?
I believe he was very good in 2006. That is my memory of it.
Did he redefine the category? I mean, because there's a lot of, misty-eyedness. I've used that word a few too many times in today's podcast, but about Buffon because he's just retiring and, got to the end of his career. Was he great in 2006? Was he category redefining like Neuer was in many ways? I
mean, Neuer's category redefining went a bit wrong this time around, didn't it? We might as well have René Higuita in there.
Yeah, it still tickles me now.
All right, let's have Neuer so we can move on from talking about defenders and goalkeepers, because that's boring.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.